We've all been there, haven't we? You're out, the energy's great, but then there's that little tug in the back of your mind, that voice saying, all right, time to go, time to go.
Oh, absolutely. That feeling is so relatable.
And today's deep dive, get this, is going to explore that feeling through song lyrics.
Interesting. Right?
Yeah, we're diving deep, no pun intended, into a track called, you guessed it, I Gotta Go Home.
Just the title alone.
I know, right? And the lyrics themselves. Let me tell you, talk about an emotional gut punch. Raw, relatable, surprisingly deep, actually.
Yeah.
So when you first went through these lyrics, what jumped out at you? What really stood out?
Honestly, the first thing that hit me was the raw emotion in these lyrics.
Yeah.
It's palpable. It's not just about, like, physically leaving a place, right?
Right.
This is about a real internal struggle,
Yeah.
between desire and obligation. You can practically hear that want to stay, battling it out with the need to go in every single line.
Yeah.
Like, that push and pull is so evident.
It's so true. And the way, I don't know if you notice this, but the way the singer repeats the phrase, I gotta go home, almost like a mantra, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Each time they say it, it's more desperate, the stakes are higher.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's something we can all relate to, that feeling of being torn. Like you want to do something, but you feel like you have to do something else.
100%. And you know what really adds to that feeling?
What's that?
The sensory details the singer uses.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they talk about perfume, they mention scratches. It's like you're right there in this charged encounter, feeling the weight of this situation.
It's so vivid, and it makes you realize how connected those sensory details are to memory, right?
Exactly.
Because even when the singer's trying to leave, it's like they're going to be haunted by these very physical reminders. Like it's burned into their memory.
Totally. It's like the experience is inescapable, even when you're trying to escape it.
And that's actually what makes one line in particular really hit home for me. Mind twisted, your body twisted, me and you together.
Whoa.
I was like, where did that come from,
Right.
Things just got real complicated. What do you make of that line?
That line is so interesting because it throws you right into the thick of it. And I think it hints at the bigger picture here.
Yeah.
You've got temptation, right? You've got the weight of commitments that might be holding this person back. Maybe even the feeling that time is just slipping away.
It's heavy stuff.
And the singer manages to pack all of that into what, like 6 words?
Yeah, it's incredible.
Really powerful stuff.
It's interesting, too, because there's this, ambiguity to the whole situation, don't you think?
Oh, totally.
Like, who exactly is the singer talking to?
Right.
Could be a lover, could be talking to themselves even, right? Maybe it's multiple people.
It's true, yeah. The song leaves it pretty open, and I think that's actually part of what makes it so relatable.
Right.
We've all felt that pull, that internal conflict, and it doesn't really matter who or what is causing it.
It's a universal experience.
It really is, like desire versus responsibility. That's something we all grapple with.
You totally nailed it. It's like the song is tapping into something really human, And speaking of tapping into something, did you notice how the tone kind of shifts as the song goes on?
Oh, yeah.
Like it starts almost desperate, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely.
But then by the end, there's this almost pleading quality to it. Like they're trying to convince themselves as much as anyone else.
I think you're right, because it's like that repetition of I gotta go home isn't just a statement. It's almost like they're trying to convince themselves. Right.
Exactly.
So it really highlights that internal struggle between what they want and what they feel they should do. It's really fascinating to hear those two forces playing out in such a short space.
It's really incredible how much emotion they pack into these lyrics, actually. It's making me think about just how much we can convey, even with the simplest phrases. And speaking of phrases, I got to ask about this one line that comes right after, I got to go. The singer says, and it's so good.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about a contradiction, right?
Right.
It's like, what's so good? Is it the situation? Is it the leaving? I don't know. It feels almost playful, even though the overall tone is so serious.
I know, right? That line always gets me because it just adds this other layer to it. Like, it makes you wonder if there's this sense of relief in leaving,
Yeah.
Like maybe a feeling of freedom, or maybe it's just highlighting how intense the experience was. Like it's good and bad all at the same time.
Yeah. It's like they're playing with fire a little bit, but in a, I know I should walk away, but I kind of don't want to kind of way.
Yeah, there's definitely that tension there.
And this whole deep dive, it's got me thinking,
That.
even something as simple as song lyrics, right,
Yeah.
can be so deep and so complex.
Absolutely. It's like poetry, almost.
Right?
The way these lyrics capture such a universal feeling.
Yeah, and it kind of makes you think.
It does. And that actually brings me to a thought I had.
Okay.
When have you felt that pull
Oh.
between desire and obligation? You know,
Okay.
what were the perfume and vibrating phones, so to speak, of that situation for you,
Ooh, that's a good one. That's making me think.
right?
I might need to revisit some old journals, see what hidden depths I can uncover in my own life.
I love that.
This has been amazing. Who knew we could unearth so much from a few lines of a song?
I know. It's amazing what you can find when you really dig in.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with me.
It was my pleasure. And remember, the best deep dives, like the most thought-provoking songs, they stay with you long after they're over.
So true. So true. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for tuning in to this deep dive. We'll see you next time.